Welcome to this tutorial on how to develop and create a trackable classroom within Khan Academy. You'll begin by logging in. In this case, we will be using the Teacher Start Here login link. You'll notice this will take you to the option of having Google or Facebook as a login, and I'll go ahead and log in with my Google account. Once you're logged in, you'll be asked to create a classroom. So in this case, what I'll do here is just create a test classroom, as I don't have any students to populate the classroom with. Now you'll notice that you'll have the option to invite a number of students either by their email address or by their Khan Academy username. So to begin, you just would start off by typing in the students' email addresses or Khan Academy usernames. Ideally, this would be a little more simplified if, for example, Khan Academy had set this up to be a progressive anticipation of what the name would be, either from your contacts or from previous students. For example, if I was to start typing in my own name, I would hope to see my contact name come up, but it does not. So you're going to have to go through and just type in each student's email address or username, and this could be a little bit time consuming, but this is just the part of arranging for students. It's a one-time recurrence, and then those students will be within your register. What I'm going to do here then is just add a student to this class. So I will use what is our channel ID, and I'll invite that student. And very simply it says that I've sent out an invitation to KA tutorial, and I can resend that or delete that student. You'll already see that I have a student named Joe Student. That was just my first attempt at trying to set this up. Now there's a few more options here that you can see within this window. I could go ahead and add some of these students to classes if I've created them. For example, earlier on I created a grade 7 mathematics class, and or I could stop coaching these students. And then obviously I would add more students to those who I want to have within my register. If you look on the toolbar on the side, you'll notice that I'm already on the all students, so that's who I've invited or who's available to me. There's also the option to have child accounts, so if you were a parent or if you were coaching your own child, you would use this as an option. And then those who are not in the classroom. Following this is the classes you have set up. So for example, I've already created this grade 7 mathematics classroom as my own example, and of course the test classroom, which I just created within this period. Now with these two students I have, for example, the KA tutorial and Joe student, I could go to class stats. Now I'm not going to see anything here because none of my students have actually completed anything, that being myself. What I can do though is if I had this set up, I would be able to see my students and their progress. And once again, just as if you were doing this yourself, as was described in the introduction tutorial, you'd be able to see how students were progressing, if they were struggling, if they needed a review, if they're proficient, or if they even started. And this is more just applicable to the math curriculum, particularly that knowledge map that was discussed in that introduction tutorial. Now this is where the teacher will find that the Khan Academy has some of the most data-driven content available to them. You'll see on the side toolbar here, for example, on the progress, you can either go by student, so if you want to look individually at one student. You can see it by particular exercise, so if you're within one of the strands of math and you want to focus in on one lesson, you can see that exercise. You can also see it as a table, which just basically gives you a full-blown color coding as to how each of those lessons has be completed. Other reports include the activity, over time, real time, and goal. So this is pretty powerful stuff, and what I wanted to do here right now is just share with you an example that came from United Kingdom classroom, and it describes how you can see the progress over time.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to show you how my students use Khan Academy.
Okay, now you are the coach.
Okay.
As the teacher, you're the coach.
Mm-hmm.
So you log in
Right.
using your Google account.
That's right.
Okay.
So I just logged in up here and used my Google account. The students have to add me as their coach, so this has already been set up. But as the coach now, I can click on here and hopefully view my students right here. So these are the students that that logged on. The modules across the top here are the ones that they've participated in. And you can see I can hover over here and learn information about how long it was ago that they did this, how many
Wow.
problems they've tried, if they're proficient. So the colors you're seeing over here, blue is proficient. This, whatever color that is, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever color that
I
is.
can't really say. It's review. That means they need to keep working on that. They're not quite there. And red shows that they're struggling.
So you would, as a teacher, immediately see
Mm-hmm.
who's having trouble.
Yep. So I should be able to. Where's my scroll bar? There's no scroll bar showing up. I should be able to.
Can you scroll down and then?
Here I
Oh,
use
there it is.
Okay. So if I scroll along, I noticed earlier one of my students, you'll see in a minute, it shows up as red on a particular. There, do you see it right
Okay.
here?
Mm-hmm.
So Snehar is struggling with adding negative numbers. So I can take a look here. And this shows me all the problems that she's tried, how long she took to solve it, and the red ones are problems she got wrong. I can even click on here and look at the actual problem that she tried. I think I should be able to bring that up and see which problem she was struggling with.
So then you could help her right
I
with
could
the
help her
exact.
right with that exact
Oh,
problem.
wow. So you're not just guessing.
No, and some other things I can do. I can come back here to my students. So let me look at Lillian here, who is completely addicted to Khan Academy. So she uses it the most. So these are all of the units that she has completed so far. And you can see she's mostly been working through it in the suggested method. She's jumped ahead and done a few here and there that maybe looked interesting and probably found them very difficult because they were too far ahead. But I can look over here, the last 7 days,
Look at your data.
the last 30 days. So this is how long she's spent. These are the badges that she's earned for doing different activities. So you can see as you hover, it's like so much information.
Yes. And all.
So the energy points, this is kind of like
Yes.
the built-in reward system. So she's earned 336,000 points. She's proficient at 74 of the 240. She's only watched 2 videos. She's pretty smart with math. She probably hasn't needed to
watch the video itself. She's just okay. So then she's
a
jumping.
Kumon student.
She probably jumped over to the just practice.
A couple of those,
Just
right?
so
Just
she
did
would-
the practice. I can look at focus here.
Oh
This
my gosh, look
interesting
at the
diagram
data.
shows me like she's spent here 1 hour 10 minutes in the last 7 days working on estimation with decimals.
Okay, and the way you're doing it, they are just doing this volunteer at home.
Completely voluntary. Yep. This is over the
Look
last
at
30
that.
days. She hasn't watched very many videos. What this often shows in the middle here is the amount of videos and which videos they've watched. Because she hasn't watched any, I guess it's not showing up there. Exercise progress we looked at. It was this. Exercise progress over time. Now this is her growth over the 80 days that she's been using it. And each of these dots is a module. So you can see on this one day she did a lot and she took a break here. And I can show that for, I think, the whole class at the same time. So I can see, let's see, exercise progress over time. So these are all the students. So each color is a student. So
And you can see.
This is Lillian up here. You can see
Yeah.
she's using it. You know, this kid down here.
Right.
This is Jason. He looks like he did it once or twice and thought, nah, this isn't for me, right? He's done a couple of units and quit.
Yeah, but you have that many kids. You have a good chunk of your class, and I see you could even have class energy.
So the
points.
total class, yeah.
Wow.
The other thing, so let's show you the other thing that this is what the students also like about it. The rewards, the achievements, sorry, down here. If I scroll down, you can see there are different levels of badges. Like the easiest ones to get are the meteorite badges.
Okay.
And you get those a lot.
Oh, how fun is that?
And you know, there's all these different like persistence, nice streaks. So if you get lots of streaks in a row, I'm not seeing where it tells you exactly what they have to do. Oh, here, like here, picking up steam. Quickly and correctly answer 5 exercise problems in a row, and then they'll get that automatically. Then you have moon badges. Moon badges are uncommon, represent an investment in learning.
Oh.
She's earned 3 earth badges. They're rare. They require a significant amount of learning. Some badges are epic.
Epic.
Epic. So you need to achieve proficiency in 100 exercises. Then you have black hole badges. You don't even really know what you have to do to get those. They're that legendary.
Wow.
And then the master patches are, I think when they do, like if they master all of the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, then they get the arithmetic one or something like that.
But just the whole competition. I bet
Kind of
students
friendly
love it.
competition. Yeah, they like it. They want to know who's on what. And I know the kids will look at Lillian's and see, oh, you've done this one. I want to go home and try this one too. It looks like you did well at it. So, yeah, I've
That
had
is
loads
so
of fun
exciting.
experience. Yep.
So that is what a
That's
coach looks like.
that's Khan Academy coach. Isn't it neat?
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much
Let's
for
turn
showing
this
it to
thing
me.
off.
So what I'm going to do now, just before we end, is look at these coach resources. Now, the coach resources are designed to basically get those who are just starting off as a coach, or those who are overseeing a classroom of students within the Khan Academy. So I'm just going to choose, for example, the 4K to 12 teachers, and you can see some of the other options that are available here. As you look through this, you'll notice that a lot of the questions, or basically I would call it for your information material that comes up, deals with just how to use the Khan Academy. And I'm just going to scroll down to one here. So cultivating an interactive classroom. This is part of that flipped learning that we have spoken about. When teachers begin to use the Khan Academy, they're probably in the idea or mindset that the Khan Academy will act as an extension of the classroom. But as within the flipped learning environment, we see that there has to be different approaches. And this is, for example, one of the headings here, approaches to interactive learning. And then how to set up a classroom culture, different types of learners, one-on-one coaching, peer-to-peer tutoring, small group instruction, and so forth. So the Khan Academy really recognizes that using an online resource like this is much different than a teacher who could be beginning, say 5 year, 10 years experience, or even a senior experienced teacher who has pretty good grasp of content and pretty good grasp of delivery methods, but within this environment, it's much more unique. So what I'm going to do here is just take a moment and look at the approaches to interactive learning. Now this is kind of a unique resource because I thought it was interesting for the Khan Academy to continue to speak about the need for the teachers to be there for the students. Obviously, we understand that they are to be coaches, but really this is something that has to be working 50-50. Just not simply unloading this into the students' hands and just kind of letting them go through it. It has to be overseen, it has to be controlled, and it has to be managed by the teacher so that students can come back and, for example, see where they're struggling or see where they're having difficulty. So you'll see that this little bit here is set up to, for example, speak about one-on-one teacher-student, use when. And then for examples of implementation, look at a student's answer history on an exercise or which she is struggling, diagnose the errors or misconceptions, and prompt the student to discover the answer. This picture here is a great artifact. As we look at it, we see that the students have their laptops out. They're obviously probably on Khan Academy. The teacher is circulating, overseeing what the students are doing, as well as they're making use of pen and paper, pen and pencil and paper here to write down and try some of the items. So this is not just simply let's release the students to Khan Academy, let Khan Academy take over the learning environment, and then see how the students are progressing. The teacher, as a coach, as a guide, is there to help them. And then you can see that this goes on and speaks about this through and through. So when to use peer-to-peer, for example, again, students making use of pencil and paper, when to use small group work, getting them away actually from the laptops and having them work in small groups, and again, being overseen by a teacher. Overall, the coach teacher section of the Khan Academy is designed to make sure that teachers can be supported and can basically implement this resource into the classroom. If it's in a flipped learning environment where students take the lead and teachers are acting as the oversight, as the manager, or as a coach, that's great. And you're not, as you can see here, you're not just left alone trying to wonder how to make this work. Overall, it's a great resource for teachers to make use of. They can always come back and see how students are progressing. I know I have no students already included in my classrooms, but it's really designed to be a very strong tool that teachers can, particularly with the math curriculum, see where students are going, where they need review, and if anything, they need to work on some extra material.